Hello and welcome to this video presentation on Simple Audio Converter, an app from Binary Computing Limited. Before we begin, I'd like to mention that I'm running Windows 10 on my laptop. I have also downloaded and installed Simple Audio Converter from the Binary Computing website. The install process just takes a few minutes and it creates an icon on the desktop by default. I'll now start Simple Audio Converter by the desktop icon. One of the first screens presented is an example of a message from iTunes. You may see this message from iTunes when you attach an iPod to your computer and if you have iTunes installed and depending on your iTunes preferences. Please pay special attention to this message and take the appropriate steps as highlighted as it relates to syncing your iPod with iTunes. Worst case scenario, it could erase your iPod. If you do not want to see this message again every time you start the app, then check the Do Not Show This Message Again checkbox and select Close to continue. I'll leave it as it is for now and continue. Simple Audio Converter has now started. You may have noticed a message before it disappeared at the bottom of the app window which said there were no iPods found. The reason there were no iPods found is simply because none were attached to my laptop before I started Simple Audio Converter. Alternatively, I could have simply attached one or more iPods to my computer before starting Simple Audio Converter. They would then have been auto-detected by Simple Audio Converter. Note, for Simple Audio Converter to detect any iPods or CDs, they must first be attached to your computer and visible as an attached drive in my computer, which is called this PC on Windows 10. Here is an example of my attached drives. As you can see, there are no iPods attached. There is a CD drive attached, but no CDs loaded or inserted. I will now attach two iPods to my laptop and they should be auto-detected by Simple Audio Converter. As you can now see, there are two iPods attached, Charity and AJ's iPod. The process is exactly the same for CDs, so I won't demo this here. Also notice the iPods on the iPod section on the left-hand pane of the app. The first iPod is Charity. I can also select the second iPod, AJ, or go back. If you have any problems, then always first check the iPods are attached and visible on your computer. There is a manual scan process under Action, Scan for iPods, and another Search Drive for audio CDs, though these should not normally be necessary. Before we get into the core functionality of Simple Audio Converter, I would just like to mention the navigation and display controls available on the Source and Destination Explorer panes. Source, Destination. You have the backward and forward buttons to help you navigate through the drives and folders, or you can simply navigate through the folders below by double clicking on the folders. The button on the far right of each of the Explorer panes allows you to change the display format of the folders. The options are vertical or horizontal. I would also like to mention the help option. I'm not going to go over this in detail, as you can have a look for yourself. The help options are about. This displays the simple audio converter version information. Check for updates. Check to see if a new version of the app is available. Support takes you to the online contact us page. YouTube, binary computing YouTube channel for video tutorials. Help, this option presents the documentation that is embedded into the app. Note, you can also move the app window around on your desktop and resize as you want. Moving on to the menu bar options. Under File, this contains the exit option. The exit will close the Simple Audio Converter app. You could also use the close option on the top right hand corner of the app window. Under Action, this contains the following options. Search for iPods, which I have already mentioned. Search for audio CD, which I have already mentioned. Option Select has a number of sub-options that allow you to select or deselect individual files or all files within a particular folder. For example, alternatively, you could simply use the mouse right hand button by clicking right click and then using one of the options to select one or more files. The core functionality within Simple Audio Converter is on the main screen as follows. For example, you can select what you want to copy or convert on the left-hand Explorer pane here. You can then select the conversion type in the middle pane or leave as default no conversion here, and then select the target destination on the right-hand Explorer pane here. Here are some examples. In the first example, I am simply going to copy the contents of my iPod to a folder on my laptop with no audio conversion. I'm going to leave the audio conversion, this field here, to none, and I'm going to select an output or target location here. I've already created a test folder for these tests called BC tests, and I'm going to select this as the target folder, and then simply click on the Start Copy button. This will take a few minutes, so I'll come back just before the transfer or the copy is about to finish. Okay, that has finished. You can now see all these folders within the test subfolder within the BC test that I selected as my target location. The format of the destination is controlled by this field here, folder and file format. The default is artist, album, title. So that's how, as you navigate through the folder, the target files will appear as. You can change the format to one of these other formats. Just to show you what I mean. So you got artist, album, and then the actual track itself. In the second example, I'm going to repeat the previous example, but this time I will convert the audio files from M4A format as they are held on my iPod over to MP3 format. However, because of the length of time it takes, I will just do a handful of files. This will take a little bit of time as it's actually converting the files during the output process. Okay, that's finished. Just to show you the output destination again. I didn't change the output folder type, so it's still artist, album, and file. So just to look at one of the tracks, it's now in MP3 format. In the final example, I am going to copy and convert some files from M4A format as they are held on my iPod over to WAV format, and I will also change the target destination folder format as follows. I'll leave these files selected. I'll change the audio format to WAV, and I will also change the folder and file format here. So from artist album title, I'll change it to artist album title, and then I'll select a target, which is a different folder, and I'll do the select copy. Again, this would just take a few minutes while it does the copy and conversion. Okay, that has finished. Just to show you the target again. They're the files in the format artist, album, file name, and they're in WAV format. Note, more information can be found within the help option under section how to use. Help. This concludes the video presentation on Simple Audio Converter.